he's down in Fort Lauderdale. He's going along the docks, and he sees a sailboat that's sitting there, and it had some Canadian monks that were standing outside on the sailboat. And
Canadian monks?
Canadian monks.
Okay, just okay.
Canadian monks.
Hold on. I kind of like short-circuited away.
Is that a bird?
It's Canadian monks.
I don't know, I got 50 years of stories, but I haven't had the Canadian monks yet, so please go on.
Yeah.
Ahoy! This is your captain speaking, Greg Michael of Pinnacle Marine Group, Marine Surveyors, and welcome aboard the Nauti Buoys Boat Show. I'm joined by Captain Happy, Glenn Shadbolt, Marine Mechanic and Shipwright, and aboard this vessel, we talk everything about boats, the build, the mechanics, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We go where the seas take us. The topics will be endless. Electronics, marinas, restaurants, vacations, cruising and fishing. Our show includes live callers with real questions. Let's fare these waters together. Call 772-773-2600 every Tuesday between 5 and 5:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're a guest or a caller, you certainly are naughty. Ahoy, and welcome to the Nauti Buoys Boat Show. I'm your host, Captain Greg Michael, Marine Surveyor, and sitting next to me is our beloved Captain Happy, Glenn Shadbolt, Marine Mechanic and Shipwright. And if you're a guest or a caller, you certainly are naughty. All right, so some quick introductions. Captain Happy, Glenn Shadbolt, say hi.
Hi.
What? What was that? You're sitting on a bar stool all day?
No, not me. We're starting here, though.
Muscles and beer, right?
The car's parked. It's time to drink.
Okay, the car is parked. Okay. Well, we are extremely privileged today. We have a really, really great guest, just phenomenal guy. His name is Jim Allen. He's the executive director for Chapman School of Seamanship. Say hi, Jim.
Hi. Happy to be here.
Oh, good. So, as usual, Glenn, I like to start with my joke.
Okay.
You don't like my jokes. We're gonna try.
You're going to get one. Like the Mets. You're going to win. You know, they win, what, a pennant every 10 years or something? You got to start somewhere, right? So let's go. Come on.
All right. Here's the naughty joke, guys. Ready? Let me clear my throat for this one. It's called alligator shoes, by the way. Okay. An Army Ranger was on vacation in the depths of Louisiana, and he wanted a pair of genuine alligator shoes in the worst way, but was very reluctant to pay the high prices in the local vendor's store. After becoming very frustrated with the no-haggle attitude of one of the shopkeepers, the ranger shouted, "Maybe I'll go out and I'll get my own alligator so I can get a pair of shoes made at a reasonable price." The vendor said, "By all means, be my guest. Maybe you'll run into a couple of those Coast Guard coasties who were in here earlier saying the same thing." So the ranger headed into the bayou, and the same day and a few hours later came upon the two men standing waist deep in the water. He thought, those must be the two Coast Guard guys. Just then, the ranger saw a tremendously long alligator swimming rapidly underwater towards one of the Coast Guards. Just as the gator was about to attack, the Coast Guard grabbed its neck with both hands, strangled it to death with very little effort. Then both Coast Guards dragged it on shore, flipped it on its back. Laying nearby were several more alligator creatures. One of the Coast Guards then exclaimed, "Damn, this one doesn't have any shoes either."
Okay.
No?
No, we weren't looking for that, so we'll leave it at that. I wasn't looking for that answer.
I thought that was cute. So, okay. So, in just a minute, we're going to have Jim talk about the Chapman School. And we're going to have a live question, call-in, question and answers. And just for the people listening, the phone number to call in is 772-773-2600. So call in between 5 and 5:30, and we'll definitely take your call and try to help you out with any questions. So, all right, let's get started. Let's Let's start at the beginning, Jim. I've read your resume. Extremely impressive. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So, first of all, on that joke you had there, I've never heard a coastie say, "I wish I was in the Army." I've always heard an Army guy say, "I wish I was a coastie." So let's get that out of the way. So I'm a native Floridian.
Right.
I grew up over in St. Pete.
Yep.
I joined the Coast Guard in 1986. I was a solid 1.5 GPA student.
Ooh.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't college bound, but at the time, my father was serving in the Coast Guard, and he was about I want to say he was about his 25th year in the Coast Guard at that time. So I decided to test the waters, went off to Cape May in 1986, went to the Coast Guard Reserves initially for about 6 months or so, met my wife now. She was my girlfriend then, and I didn't have a job. And she said, "If you don't have a job, you're not going to be with me." Mm-hmm. So I joined active duty at that time.
Wait, isn't that a song?
I don't know,
If you want to be with me, you got to have a job.
You got to have a job. Yeah. So I joined the Coast Guard active duty. I thought I was going to do 4 years and get out. And at the 30-year mark, I was told I have to get out. So in between that time there, I served on a buoy tender out of St. Petersburg. It was commissioned in 1940. It was an old Coast Guard, or it was an old Navy subtender. Mm-hmm. It was called the White Sumac. From that ship, I went to another ship over in Fort Pierce in 1992, which was the Point Barnes. We primarily focused on search and rescue, going out to the Bahamas, doing alien interdiction down in the Caribbean. From there, I went up to a construction tender. It was a tug and barge up in Jacksonville, Florida. Served on that for a couple years until 96. And then 96, I got orders up to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Quite the culture shock, going from Florida to Cape Cod.
Yeah.
Never seen snow.
Yeah.
Never driven in the snow. I hit the infamous blizzard of 1996 on the way up there in
How'd your
January.
bones take it?
Yeah. You don't want to see snow again, right?
I never want to see snow again.
Yeah.
So I got up there in 96, kicking and screaming. We got on Cape Cod. I was able to raise my family in Cape Cod, which was really nice. And at that time, I was ready to get out of there. My wife was ready to leave me, but she stuck it out. She got a job with a company called Stop and Shop. Most of you from New England, you know Stop and Shop grocery stores.
Sure.
She got into management. The kids got settled in. They didn't want to go anywhere. And now it was up to me to work around my family. So on Cape Cod, I was stationed at Woods Hole. My time during Woods Hole was pretty exciting. I was involved in the JFK Jr. plane crash. I did the search and rescue planning with that. I was involved with TWA 800. It crashed off of Long Island.
Sure.
And I was involved with Egypt Air that crashed off of Nantucket. So I had all those big SAR cases that went on during that period of time. And one of my board members was just writing a book on JFK Jr. and it talks about my involvement in that JFK Jr. case and how I received the phone calls and did some of the first search planning for that particular case.
Wow.
So after that, moved on to New Bedford. I was on a cutter out of there. Went halfway around the world over to Europe. Did some stuff over in Europe, down in Africa. Again, alien interdiction down in the Caribbean, drug interdiction. Couldn't get out of New England then, so I came back to Woods Hole for a year. I made warrant officer, so I started off as an enlisted guy. Made warrant officer. I went up to Boston. I was stationed in Boston, so I did the commute from the Cape to Boston, which anybody knows that Boston traffic is absolutely miserable.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, then I went from Boston. I went to back to Newport to another ship, and then I went on to another ship in Bayonne, New Jersey, which everybody knows Bayonne, right? Yeah. Served out of Bayonne, ran up the Hudson River, breaking ice. East River, Long Island, all that area up there. Got out of Bayonne. I went to my own ship back in Newport, the Ida Lewis, another buoy tender. Broke a lot of ice, worked a lot of buoys, Long Island Sound, all the way up to Boston.
Living the life of a gypsy.
Yeah, very familiar. And all this time, my family's staying planned, which is good. And then after my tour as a captain on the Ida Lewis, I was like, I got to get out of here. I knew it was going to be my twilight tour. So I looked at the dream sheets, what the detailer had available for me, and I picked like Hawaii, Puerto Rico, anywhere that was warm. I was like, I'm done with this. I grew up in Florida. I can't take this. My bones were hurting. Been up there for 20 years. I ended up getting Pensacola, which isn't a bad pick. I did my time in Pensacola. Then I was forced to get out about just a little over that 30-year mark. I hit the 31-year mark when I finally retired. And then I moved out here to Hope Sound. My dad lives in Hope. My dad was living in Hope Sound at the time. His health wasn't that well, so I got to spend the last couple of years with him.
Good.
Living in Hope Sound. And here I am in 2017. I retired 7 years ago.
Okay. And, two comments. One, you want to go back to Jersey?
Oh, no way. No way.
That's a stupid question to ask.
Yeah, no.
Oh, come on, man.
I heard they closed Jersey, but
Did you like slip and hit your head in the tub or something today? I mean, okay, but moving on.
Yeah.
and okay, second question though. This is a good segue. So, how did you? First of all, you left the Coast Guard. What, a commander?
No, a Chief Warrant Officer 4, which is,
Okay.
you know, it's kind of that, you know, you're not really a commissioned officer, but you're in the middle between the enlisted guy and the officers.
Right.
But anybody who knows the military knows that if you're a warrant officer, it's the best job in the service. There's no doubt about that.
Right. Good. Yep, I got it. So, how did you get involved with Chapman School?
So the funniest thing is I never heard of Chapman before. My whole time in the Coast Guard, never heard of Chapman.
What?
I saw the book.
I got a book from the 50s and the 60s. It's the Chapman piloting book.
Yeah.
Everybody's got one.
it's
Come
the
on.
boating
You're
Bible.
scaring
It
me
is.
now.
It is.
Could you smack him for me, please?
Yeah, but you're in the military. You're using military references for everything. I mean, I saw the Chapman book laying around, and it used to be when I would board a boat. It used to be that Chapman book met the requirements to having the rules of the road book on board, but they since changed that. But you could go on a boat if they had the Chapman book. They'd say, yeah, that's the requirements. You're good to go. But yeah, so I mean, I didn't know there was a school. I knew the book. I didn't know there was a school that did this stuff. So I was on LinkedIn, and the little thing comes up and says, "Hey, this guy is at Chapman School, and he's 15 miles away, or whatever it was."
But you're completely schooled in seamanship because you work for the Navy. So even though they kept
Coast
you,
Guard.
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard, whatever, they kept you, you have the full knowledge of all of navigation.
Yeah, and seeing-
Which is quite a skill because I've been boating for over 50 years and I still just.
he still doesn't.
I'm serious. You know, that's
He
the whole
still
thing.
doesn't.
People-
He still doesn't get red right return. So
All right.
we're teaching him.
Yeah, you'll get there.
You'll get there.
Well,
Yeah.
We got to go for a ride sometime.
Just shut up.
Right by
So-
the Captain Retriever video.
So I saw this guy who I knew because he was stationed with. He used to work for me back when I was on the tug and barge up in Jacksonville. So that was back in '94-ish. And I was like, oh, let's connect with Tony. So I called up Tony and I said, hey, man, let's go out to lunch. I see you're right down the road. We went out to lunch, and then he said, hey, do you want my job? I was like, what do you do? He's like, well, I'm the program coordinator here at the school, and I schedule things out. I don't have to teach, but I just schedule things out. And I was like, sounds like a great job. So he left. I took over that job, and I've been here ever since.
How long were you program director until you became the executive director?
So I wore a lot of different hats. So, as I kind of progressed at the school, I started to try to grow out things. We've lost some people along the way. We used to have a dean, Tom Dante, but we lost our dean along the way. He was retiring. So I kind of filled all these different roles.
Right.
And then I found myself kind of managing everything at the school besides what the president did, which she was really focused on boat donations, but I took over the academic structure of the school. So I went from program, all sitting in the same office, but program coordinator to director of academics to COO to executive director, which I announced. So it took me 6 years or so to get there.
Yeah. Good. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so give us a brief history on Chapman School.
It's an interesting history. So Chapman School was founded in 1971. So Glenn Castle was the original founder. He was down, I think he's just got back from his birthday. He was celebrating his birthday at the time. I believe he was in his late 50s at the time. He's down in Fort Lauderdale. He's going along the docks, and he sees a sailboat that's sitting there, and it had some Canadian monks that were standing outside on the sailboat. And he
Canadian monks?
Canadian monks.
Okay, just okay.
Canadian monks.
Hold on. I kind of like short circuit away.
Is that a bird?
It's Canadian monks.
I got 50 years of stories, but I haven't had the Canadian monks yet. So please go on.
Yeah. So these Canadian monks, they were on this sailboat, and the sailboat was in desperate need of repair. They couldn't afford to get this repaired. So Glenn Castle struck up a conversation with them, and he said, hey, this would make a great classroom.
The boat.
The boat would, to train people. It was named the Jesus Cristo. So he's like, what would it take to get this sailboat from you? They said, well, all we need to do is get a ride back to Canada. We'll turn it over to you.
Wow.
The captain had left the boat. The monks were just on board. They didn't know how to operate the boat. They had very, very limited skills. The boat was somewhat in disarray. So he rented a Ryder truck, put them in that Ryder truck, sent them back to Canada, and he took over the sailboat, which became Chapman School's first training platform. So with that, taking over that sailboat, Glenn Castle didn't have any money, but he tried to get people to come onto this boat and pay money to come on this so he could make a little money. Well, the way that he got the first students to enroll is he walked up and down the street, drove up and down the street trying to find people who looked like they needed a job. So he grabbed a bunch of guys, got them on the boat, let them live on the boat, and started training them in seamanship. 'Cause he's
Like
really
the South Street Seaport did that. I've slept on the Peking and the Ambrose.
Oh, the Ambrose Lighthouse?
They
The
didn't.
Ambrose Lighthouse ship.
Yep.
And the Peking, when my buddy was living on the boats, he
Right.
was working there in the early 80s.
But they didn't let
used to
him. He just slept on them.
No, I actually volunteered my time to help tie up the boats on one of those enormous
Nice.
things. The early 80s when all the big ships came
Yeah.
in. Yeah, I was down there. Because we used to hang out in the city back then. So Todd was living on the boat. We'll go out to Todd. We'll just, we'll pick him up. We can hang out in the city and then just sleep on the boat. It was great.
So Castle has this sailboat. He's using it as a classroom, basically.
Yep.
How does Chapman get involved?
So he realized that he needed to get this boat out of Fort Lauderdale, but the boat was in disarray. So he needed money to go from Fort Lauderdale to West Palm Beach to try to get this moving. So he was friends with Chapman, Charles Chapman, which they call him Chaps. He was friends with Chaps. So Chaps says, "Hey, look, in the premise behind the school was the same mission that it is today, to help underserved communities and underserved people get involved in the trades, because they lacked the trades back then, just like they do kind of now." Mm-hmm. So Charles Chapman said, "Hey, I'll lend you my name, and you could use it to advance the school." So which he did. So Charles Chapman says, "Hey, I'll be a co-founder with you. Tell everybody I'm affiliated with the school, and then we'll go out and we'll make this happen." So he was excited about all the stuff that the vision that Glenn Castle had for the school. So that's what kind of started all. So when Charles Chapman got involved, they got, like, Walter Cronkite was on the board. Ultimately, Hugh Downs was on the board. The old Hugh Downs used to be, I think, on 2020 or something like that at the time. So all these big people started coming in and started to kind of grow the school. So the school went from Fort Lauderdale, then it went to Blowing Rocks up in Tequesta, West Palm Beach line, which is Tiki 52, Tiki 52, which is right there. Mm-hmm. They were there for a little bit. Lost the sailboat because they leveraged the sailboat to get a loan to try to fix up the sailboat, but they couldn't afford to keep the sailboat up. So they ended up losing the sailboat as a lien. They lost the sailboat. Went to Blowing Rocks to start up classes. Had to move out of there. Then they moved out to Chapman Way in Palm City. They found another spot where somebody donated some land for them to use. It was $1 a month or something like that for a lease. So they went up there, started their school up. Somebody donated them a couple boats. They got into doing not only the professional side, but they started doing some recreational boating out there. Castle got really sick around 1982, I think it was. And then he passed away ultimately from cancer. But right after he passed away, they said, "Hey, you got to get out of this land in Palm City, because we're going to build this big marina." Well, that big marina is Meridian, right there off Chapman Way.
Oh, wow.
That's why it's named Chapman Way.
Yeah.
They found a spot where we are right now in Manatee Pocket. I mean, you couldn't find a better school. I mean, you've been there, Greg. It's
amazing.
Unbelievable location. Yeah. They found that spot there in 1983. I think they paid about $1 million for it back then or something like that. But
wow.
It was an old fish camp, kind of hotel, family hotel, which some of that still kind of stands today. And we've been there ever since, kind of growing those programs, as the schools kind of develop. But, today we've done around 30,000 students that's gone through the school.
Wow. So, okay, that was the progression of it. So where's the school located?
Yeah, we're right in Manatee Pocket. So if you go through Port Salerno and you look like you're going to go to Sansprit Park, you just look on your right-hand side. You'll see the sign that says Chapman School of Seamanship. It's nice and cleaned up now.
Would that be Stewart?
It's in Stewart, yeah.
Stewart, Florida. Okay, Martin County, Stewart, Florida.
Right.
Good. And I was out at the school. I was very impressed, because sometimes you think of the Chapman School and you don't know how big it really is. So just tell the people how big it really is, what you have there, what's going on.
Yeah, so in totality, between the property we have, that's the waterfront property. So it sits on 9 acres of waterfront property. With
9 acres?
Yeah, with over 1,000 foot of seawall. Across the street, we have another acre across the street for 2 other classrooms over there that we use. But it's a pretty impressive site. I mean, to see. A lot of people, like you said, don't understand like what we have. They think of us as a small schoolhouse or maybe a building, but
right.
We're more than that. We have 6 classrooms. We have dormitories, all the stuff there.
So you have dorms, you have housing.
Yes, we have
so
housing.
people can come from anywhere, basically, enroll and they'll have a dorm or a place to stay.
Absolutely, and we kept that. We have 24 dorms that are on site. We're trying to remodel a couple other ones right now. But the thing about those dorms is we keep that cost low. I think right now it's $70 a night to stay there.
Wow.
And they're more than a dorm. They're more like a efficiency. They come with a stove, a hot top, we're going to call it, an oven. They have single beds in there. Sometimes they have twin beds in there. But also, if you don't have a lot of money, you could do a shared room with somebody for $40 a night there.
Okay.
Which, we'll fill those rooms up. Most of the time in January when it's cold up, people from up north come down to the school. They fill those up.
What kind of licenses do you do? Like 6-packs or 100-ton or 2 or, what?
Oh, we have all kinds of programs there at the school. So we have the traditional Coast Guard, the license training program, the OUPV, which is a 8-day course, and then we have the upgrades to a 100-ton course after that.
Do you do 200?
We do a 200 course also. That's 4 days. We have a 200 upgrade, but you have to be holding your license, your 100-ton.
You need the hours.
You need the days.
Because I know
days,
someone, even if you have a small boat now, because the problem he's running into is he can't run 100, he can't run the Asmins or whatever. All the insurance companies want the 200-ton.
Who?
Kenny.
Oh, you didn't say Kenny. He said the problem he's running into. I'm thinking me? No, I don't have any problem. I run boats. But, okay. So
Well, how many tons do you have?
It's not.
I have 100-ton.
Okay.
He needs tonnage. He needs tonnage, not
Good,
just time. But
right,
tonnage.
but the insurance companies now want you to actually bring it up.
That's
He lost
a
nice
whole nother
account.
show, how the Coast Guard recognizes tonnage.
Yeah.
6-pack, 100-ton, 200-ton. It doesn't go by how many people or how big the boat is. It's a whole different formula.
Right.
But that's another show. We'll get to
Another
that.
show.
Yeah.
Tell me
So
about that.
so yeah, we have the standard Coast Guard courses, but we also have the towing course, which everybody gets for free.
Mm-hmm.
We have a sailing endorsement course. We have the STCW courses over there for other license. We have maritime security awareness. We have what else do we have? We have radio operator permit, and then we have all our recreational components too.
So I'm really excited because you started the Yamaha certification program. So talk about that.
Yeah. So the Yamaha program came on in 2022.
There goes Glenn's beer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I think it was self-evident, but anyway, go on.
Yeah, so the Yamaha program started up in 2022. Right. So we took on that program around 2021 when we did a partnership with Pursuit Boats, and they had Yamahas on it. So Pursuit connected us to Yamaha, and then I was able to convince them that, hey, this is going to be a great program for here, and it turns out it was. So when you come through our Yamaha program, it's a 9-week program, and it runs parallel to our professional mariner program. And what you get out of that is you get your introductory to outboard system certificate, you get your portable engines, you get your inline, you get your mid-range, and you get your V6 maintenance certificates. So what is happening is these students are coming through, and they're getting hired to go, into the next week or so. As soon as they finish the course, they're either getting hired. And most recently, one guy went out and started his own business. Within a month of starting his own business, he was booked out 3 weeks because there's such a shortage of technicians out there.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, and we've graduated in the last year and a half. We've had the program. We're up to about 45 students that we've put through the program.
Wow, that's good. So let's talk about the surveyors program, because Chapman School is very well known for the surveyors program, right? So how does that all work? How long? Maybe some cost. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so our survey program is only 6 weeks long. That's one of our most popular programs. That typically books out 6 months out. So right now, if you're looking to get into our survey program for the September course, there's probably a couple spots left for that, but then the October course rolls around and it'll probably be full. January will definitely fill up. So, but it's a 6-week program. There's some classroom components in there, and there's also some lab work, which we call, going out and tapping on the boats, going through the boat systems, and really getting into your ABYC handbook, the ABYC details. But this course is equivalent to, I had because we're looking at another project with the survey program, but it's equivalent to taking 14-hour semester in 6 weeks is how much it's equivalent to. So it's a lot of information. Yeah. The students are going from 8 till 10 at night for that 6 weeks. They don't stop.
Yeah.
They don't stop. And the cost of that program is $66.50 right now.
That's cheap.
It's cheap to learn a trade.
Yeah, it's
right.
cheap.
And the thing with that is,
Are you becoming a maid or a maid engineer? What is the
you're
a surveyor.
You're looking to become a marine surveyor. But
the Marine Surveyor.
yeah, there's The only brick and mortar class that I know about marine surveying is over in England, and there's not one in the United States. And we've been doing this since 1984. We started the Marine Surveyor program, so it's been going a long time, and we've put out a lot of great surveyors out of that program.
What is the apprentice time on that?
Well, you get a little bit of time for credit. You get a year credit for coming through the program.
Okay.
And then then you just have to follow whatever you're going to go into, either SAMs or NAMs, whatever way you're going to go into the survey program. They have their own requirements, what they want you to do with that.
Right. So, so the survey. When I was walking through, some of these guys were taking their finals for the surveying
Final
course.
survey.
Yeah, and I was pretty amazed because they're actually on boats, surveying boats, taking their final exam. So I guess you have both practical and written, right?
Yeah, we have 4 exams that they take. They take three exams during the course, and then they take a final exam. So those are all weighted 25%. So 25% for this. Each one gets 25%. That makes up 50% of the grade. The final exam is what makes up the other 50% of their grade. So it's a heavy.
Yeah,
it's heavy. So when they go through this program, they're learning just how to write a report that's probably not going to be the best report, but it's just finding the foundation parts of the report.
Mm-hmm.
We have InspectX come in, we have Force 5 come in and show their products to the students. And some students just stick with using like Microsoft Word or something like that to write their report. So they do a practice survey before they do their final survey. Mm-hmm. And then the final survey, the director of the survey program goes over that really well and then gives them a final grade.
So you mentioned programs, like just to let everybody know what you're talking about out there. So Force 5, these other programs, these are actual programs that the surveyor can use. It's kind of like boilerplate. You plug in your information. You have the program doing most of the work. Some people make their own templates out of Word, and they write these dissertations. That was the old. I used to do that way back 20 years ago, but. Right. Now I use Force 5. So it's just easier. It kind of makes things more controllable. Things are right in line. So it's just an easier read for people.
Yeah. It creates somewhat of a checklist for you to follow as you're doing your report.
Right. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine some of these insurance companies and banks were reading surveys and they were reading, 50 paragraphs of some. Now they just look and they go, oh, here it is. So it's much easier with these programs. And I don't necessarily say one's better than the other. It's really a preference. You got to get used to them, things like that. And as far as the surveying course, you're right. Like I took courses at Maritime. They don't do it anymore. There's a bunch of schools that used to do it. They don't do it anymore. So Chapman's is probably the only place you can go. I mean, a real building where you can go and take your courses. Yeah,
I believe there's one that you could do an online course. I think it's on the other coast. I can't remember the name now. But anyways, there are some of the ones that are online. I think you do like correspondence wise. But yeah, we have an instructor. Our director of survey has got many years experience. He's a Coast Guard inspector and he's been a surveyor and he surveys cruise ships all the way down to small boats and. He's got a wealth of knowledge, and our instructors all have a wealth of knowledge that teach that course.
Yeah, I used to do the real big stuff. I still do, yachts. I do small craft, but I'll tell you, the bigger the stuff, you better be prepared. The systems on these boats are so sophisticated, and there's so much. There's a lot of liability there. So, these kids coming right out of school, if I could give them any advice, start slow. Yeah. Don't bite off more than you could chew because there's a lot to it. There's a lot more to it than they think.
I think the students are always surprised when they come in and they think that they're going to be starting out on some kind of like a mega yacht or this perfect $1 million boat to start surveying. But then they fast realize that a survey is going to be required for a lot of different boats in a lot of different conditions, whether it has engines or doesn't have engines, whether it has an interior or doesn't have an interior. It's going to need a survey at some point. And that's the thing they have to deal with. Okay, what's missing? Maybe this isn't the greatest boat, but every boat out there is somebody's dream boat that they're going to buy, and they're going to say, hey, I want a surveyor to do this boat.
Right. So some new upcoming courses you're thinking about? What's on the horizon?
So what we're looking at it in somewhere probably about 8 to 10 months out, we're going to take that survey course and we're going to break it up into online modules so students can take that course.
That's cool.
Online. It's going to be pretty extensive. But the thing with that, in order to complete the whole survey program, you still have to come to the campus. You still have to use all the tools. You still have to get on the boats. You still have to tap on the boats. You still have to do all the inspections on the boats. So that doesn't go away. It just frees up a little bit more time so somebody can do it more so on correspondence. Because like I mentioned earlier, this course gets so backlogged where every course is maybe has a wait list of 20 people deep. They come from all over the United States, plus they come from other countries. They come into this course. And so we're hoping we could build this course out where not only is it for the survey students, but if somebody wants to buy a boat, they could just buy a module of that. Right. Like, hey, maybe I need to brush up on this, and they could buy that particular module. So that's coming. If you have any diesel engine guys that listen, we really want to start a diesel school.
Oh yeah,
we really want to start a diesel school, and it's hard to, just like it was with Yamaha, it's really hard to get somebody to come in and invest in that. But
well, it's tough now too because everything's laptop now. That's certified since '82. But me and the computers, it's a whole new world.
Yeah,
so you really got to be
Well, we just want. I know there's a need for it. People call us on the phone all the time, say, "Do you have a diesel component?" So since I took over in January, my goal is to make this the Maritime Training Center of Excellence. Like I want what the industry needs, and the industry's got to tell us what they need. Having that diesel component, having an electrical component would really be big for the school. But this is a big industry where we're at right here in Martin County. It's a $1.3 billion industry, and to be able to have a feeder, whether it's from the high schools, we've been working with the high schools to try to get those trades back, and they're going to start hopefully working with us to get them through the school. But having that diesel component is going to be big for us. And we're going to start creating some more online content that people can buy from us as well online to kind of brush up. And then back to the surveyor stuff, we want to have some continuing education programs on there as well, so surveyors can brush up.
So what I'm getting is inboard, gas, outboard, diesel, surveying, and all your other modules, electrical, seamanship, navigation. You're going after it all.
We are.
Okay. So you're going to be a complete school, basically a maritime school.
Eventually, hopefully the next 5 years, that's what we go to. We want to be the complete package. And, some things may fizzle out, but, the goal is to build this up with the industry needs. And I think everybody can agree the industry is hurting for technicians, whether it's, buffing out boats to working on the engines or, climbing a mast. Everybody needs these technicians. And I think we're starting to see that swing from, the regular brick and mortar institutions to getting a degree to go into something like a micro-credential or something like that we have at the school to get them through and get that experience while they're here.
Well, you know what you could do?
What's that?
If you really wanted to, you could make the pay lucrative so that people would sign up and do it. But no, just...
Well, he doesn't have control.
I don't have control of that.
That would make it lucrative to whoever's listening.
He doesn't have control.
Well, the other thing too is we have within that program is we have what's called our lateral entry program too. So if you come through our professional mariner program, which ultimately you get your 100-ton masters completion certificates, you could go into the Coast Guard as an E4.
Oh wow!
With a 3-week boot camp. I just got approval today for the Yamaha program. It's going to offer the same thing, except for it means that you're shorter. You're in the services they have with AE schools or technician schools that you go to. It just cuts that school in half if you have the Yamaha program, and you get to come out as an E4 as well. So these are the programs that I'm working with the Coast Guard to, and they finally got approved. But we've had out of the school here, we've had 4 sign up, and I think we have like another 3 or 4 that are in the chute to leave to go through boot camp in the next 6 months.
And you obviously partner with other organizations. You mentioned ABYC, right? Yeah. American Boat and Yacht Council. I think everybody who's in this industry must be a member of the American Boat and Yacht Council. It's just you got to know the standards. If you don't know the standards of ABYC, you're lost,
right?
So that's good. You partner with them. Any other big guys you partner with?
Yeah. So I failed to mention in the beginning, we're a non-for-profit school. So
okay.
We're 501c3. So we need the partnerships, and so we partner with Pursuit. Mm-hmm. Yamaha is obviously a partner. At the Helm Training, which is local here.
Yep.
Onyx,
that's John
Dial.
Yep.
Onyx life jackets, we partner with them as well. So, we're trying to build these partnerships up because this is, we use these brands also. We want to promote those brands. So if anybody has anything out there and they want to partner with us, please reach out to me. We always look for things. If you want us to test something out, we're testing out what's called a hull shield on one of our boats now, and that's that electrolysis or keeps the barnacles and growth away. We're trying it out at the school, but if anybody wants to have us try things, we have a whole fleet of training boats. Like I said, we're a 501c3 and we rely on partnerships and we rely on donations.
How do they get in touch with you? Website, phone numbers, give us all that.
Okay. So, yeah, you could contact me at j.allen@chapman.org, but also you could try our website out at www.chapman.org. That's our website. All the information's on there. And you can reach out to the front desk at 772-283-8130 is our main contact number.
Fantastic. All right, guys, it's that portion of the show where we are going to take some live callers. So that's exciting. So
They are alive, right?
Yeah, they're alive. They better be alive if they have questions. So, all right, we're going to get to the phones right now. We're going to get some callers calling in. And remember, Tuesdays between 5:30. The phone number again is 772-773-2600. And please call into the Nauti Buoys Boat Show. And you have a mechanic, Glenn Shadbolt. You have a Marine Surveyor, Greg Michael. And you always have a guest here ready to answer questions. Okay, we have a caller coming in, so I will take this. Hi, welcome to Nauti Buoys Boat Show. Who am I speaking with, and who's your question for?
Hey, this is John from Long Island. How's it going?
Hey, John, how are you?
Good. So I had a question for Glenn. I left my bilge pump running. I got an old Sea Ray 39 foot. It was running for a while, and then it shut off. I can't seem to find the breaker for it.
Sea Rays, they usually had a hot box somewhere located near the battery switches. Can't remember every model, maybe the middle hatch in the back, but near the batteries you'll see a bunch of small breakers, sump pumps, bilge pumps, monoxide. That's where the breaker's going to be.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I was looking underneath the helm, and I didn't see anything. I appreciate that.
Oh, good.
Not a problem.
All right.
Have a good day, my friend.
John, thanks for calling in, and definitely subscribe and follow.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
All right, good. That was a good one that you knew. All right, we got another call coming in. Let me grab this one. Hi, welcome to Nauti Buoys Boat Show. Who am I speaking with, and who's your question for?
Hi, this is Brandon. I have a question for Chapman School of Seamanship.
Sure.
I have a boat that I'm looking to get rid of, and I saw that you guys accept boat donations. Can you guys explain that process to me?
Sure. So, first thing you do is you reach out to the school. You can reach out to Randy. She's our boat donations person, and we're going to ask you for some information about the boat, like the condition and what you plan on doing with the boat. So usually when we take a boat donation, we let the owner or the donor choose how it wants to be used. So they could either use it for the program, which means that we would put it into our survey program or our boating program, or we could turn around and sell this to help offset some of the costs of the school. But we always appreciate the boat donations. It's expensive to run a school, and it kind of keeps our costs down low. So it's a pretty seamless process. Takes usually maybe 2 hours. If it has a clean title, it's got a clean documentation on it. It just takes a couple hours to do it. And if you're going to use the donation, and you say you want to put it into the program for us to use, or the fleet, which we call it, we would have a Marine Surveyor come out and do a value on it, and then you would get that value to write off on your taxes or whatever, what's accordance with whatever your CPA says that you need to do with it.
Good. I'm volunteering to do the survey.
All right. All right.
Volunteer.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Do we answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. And do I get a tax write-off if you guys sell the boat as well?
So if we hold on to that boat and we sell it, you'll get that tax write-off, whatever the value we sell it for. So you'll get a notification from us, and you'll get an IRS form giving you what we sold it for.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Good. Thanks for calling in, and please like, follow, and subscribe.
Obviously, they don't like Dad's boat.
Thank you. They're gonna
Just don't.
donate Dad's boat.
We had some nice boats donated recently. People are very generous, and that
Yeah.
definitely helps us offset some of our
good.
costs.
That's awesome. Good. Yeah, boat donation. Now, I got another call. We'll talk about that later. All right, let me get this call. Hi, welcome to Nauti Buoys Boat Show. Who am I speaking with, and who's your question for?
This is Nando from up in New York.
Nando, how you doing?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good.
My question is for you, Greg.
All right.
So, I was wondering, as a Marine Surveyor, do you also need to have a captain's license or be a captain?
Great question. The short answer is no, you don't. So to be a Marine Surveyor, there's no need to have your captain's license, and there's nobody forces you to do it, right? But let me tell you this: as a Marine Surveyor, I got my captain's license for a couple of reasons, but the main reason is you're going to go out on surveys, and sometimes these brokers they can't pilot these boats, and they don't have a captain there to do it. So who's left? The Marine Surveyor is usually the guy that's saying, all right, I'll do it. I'll dock it. I'll this or that. So my long answer to your question is, if you're going to be a Marine Surveyor, definitely get your captain's license. It comes in handy. You're definitely going to use it. And it's really, really good on your resume.
Understood.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Very good. Thank you, Greg.
All right, you got it. Hey, listen to the show, and definitely subscribe, follow, and like us.
Love the show. Take care, Captain Happy.
Take care, Nando. Thanks for the
Always.
call.
All right. Be good.
Bye-bye. All right. Yeah, you should just have a captain's license.
You should. Gives you. I mean, it does give you credibility.
Yeah.
It shows.
But it gives you responsibility.
It gives you some responsibility.
Do
maybe
you
a few
not
extra
have
bucks.
to register with, as a, in New York you had to register.
Yeah, no, not here. All right, let me take this call. Hi, welcome to Nauti Buoys Boat Show. Who am I speaking with, and who's your question for?
Yeah, this is Craig Williamson, and I was wondering a little bit about the Chapman School.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was wondering if I'm new to boating. I've heard a little bit about them. I've learned a little bit, but I was, what kind of stuff do they offer for me? I don't want to be like a captain. I just want to be safer and make sure I do the right thing and don't look like a knucklehead out there.
All right. Well, thanks for calling. So we have multiple classes for the recreational boater. So you would probably start out as something at what we call our CPC 100 level course, and that's if you you come through that course. We focus on the boating safety, the regulations, aids to navigation, and when you take that course, the first day, it's about 6 hours long. At the end of the day, you'll take your exam, and then you'll get your Florida State boating course certificate or your card. After that, then we do a follow-on day, emphasizing everything that you learned in the classroom. We go out on the water, and we do about 4 hours on the water, just going over all the stuff that we talked about in the class. So our mantra is learn at the helm. So the captain's going to go out there. We have all of our captains, all of our training captains that conduct the training at the school. They're all licensed. So a lot of places don't have licensed captains, but these guys are all licensed and they're all experienced captains. And I encourage you to challenge the captains by giving them, some questions that may be hard questions for them to answer, but challenge their abilities to give you what you need. Also, go ahead.
So I'll be able to be on a boat, or it's just, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll be on a boat. So you'll be classroom is one day, and then you'll be on a boat the second day. And then if you wanted to do follow-on training from that, we also have individualized training just tailored just for you. So if you wanted to focus more on anchoring your boat, you wanted to focus more on just tight quarters docking and maneuvering, or maybe some electronics, we could tailor that course to whatever you need.
Cool.
Oh, that's awesome. And are they all the time? Is it only on weekends? But I work weekends, so if I'm during the week, do you guys do it anytime or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And anytime you just call us up and whatever fits your schedule, we'll try to accommodate it. And also it's always good to bring somebody who's going to be working on the boat with you. And if you're married or have a significant other, bring them along too.
Cool. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thanks for your call. Please subscribe, follow, and like the show.
Right on. Thank you. Have a good one.
Take care. So you bring up a good point. A lot of people out there don't even know the rules. So new guys buying a boat. What's the requirements?
Unfortunately, there are no requirements unless you're born after 1988. Then you have to have a safe boating course for the state of Florida.
Which is sad.
It's sad. Well,
It's sad
there's several
because
states that don't require it all. So
because the sad part is I've been boating my whole life, and just because I'm a mechanic doesn't mean I'm a great captain. And I've been out there 50 years, and I'm gonna go buy this thing, and it's like, oh, I could drive. It's like, wait a minute, buddy.
yeah, we have students that come through all the time, and we just had a guy recently who came through, and he bought a really big, expensive boat. Never had a boat, and he bought a boat that was in the 50-foot range.
Yeah,
never,
and they do. Yeah,
never been on a boat before.
It's his first fiberglass bill.
Yeah, so we always encourage anybody. There's one thing about our school is I don't care how long you've been boating, you're going to come there and you're going to learn something, and you're going to be able to take that knowledge and share it with somebody else. And if you're married, what we typically do is if you come to one of our bigger classes, we split the husband and wives up because that way the wife can learn without somebody over their shoulder. So that usually works out very well. And like I said, we do a lot of recreational boating classes. We do a lot of private lessons with students, just teaching them how to boat better. Right here in Martin County. Martin County is number 11 on the boating accidents. In the county,
terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah. So we could do better than that. We encourage everybody to take a boating class, whether you take it through us or you take it through another company. It's just getting that knowledge, and I've been boating for, 50 years or so, but I always learn something.
Yeah.
And you always have to refresh yourself.
Yeah.
It's squirrely at the Roosevelt Bridge.
No,
when the tide's moving sometimes. Yeah, and it's narrow.
I'm a proponent for, I think everybody should have a license for a boat, just like a driver's license. The legislators, I think they believe they'd lose a lot of revenue in boating if they went that route. And I get it. But, you're taking a missile on the water.
Yeah.
And you're handing the keys to somebody because they can make the payments.
That weighs 15,000 pounds.
Or more.
And people at the dock think they're going to save you when they put themselves between you and the,
Right.
Well, here's kind of a crazy thing is that, we have I didn't talk about our summer youth program for our kids, but we put through 240 kids every summer to learn how to be safe boaters. So we have a week-long camp.
Awesome.
They get 10 hours on the water. They get the whole classroom time it's a 36-hour course, but at the end of that course, they test for their safe boating card. So we teach 11 to 17. There's no requirement for a minimum age to run a boat. There's no requirement.
Right.
So they get that boating course and they're out there running boats. Now, some of those kids are awesome boat drivers. They're only 10 or 11, but they're very good boat drivers.
You don't need a separate license for to have an outboard on a boat down here?
No.
I had to take a test at like 10. But no, I'm just saying we actually had to take the little.
Yes, so we give these kids hands-on training, but we have four different.
So you're actually giving that what the other states have. You're giving them what other states require at 10 years old.
Right. Yeah, they're doing it at 11, but these kids go out and they get on the water, they dock, they maneuver. But we have four different levels that they can advance through. So we have basic, intermediate, advanced, and then our Voyager program. So some of these kids graduate through all four programs over several years. So, but that's big. 240 kids signed up this year. We sold it out really quick, which is a good thing.
Are you running prop guards?
And guess who's part of that program? My daughter Sarah.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, she signed up. Yeah,
all right, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're putting her in that. So, hey, her dad can't be a Marine Surveyor, owner of how many boats through the years, and her not, have the knowledge. So,
well, it's hard to teach your family how to boat.
I won't do it.
Yeah, it's hard.
I've seen many men yelling at their wives for no reason, and it's frustration. That's what it is. These guys are so frustrated; they don't know what they're doing. And if you just would have got lessons, or you went to a school. Yeah. Well, you did the right thing, you wouldn't have this.
Yeah, when we set up at boat shows or any events that we set up our table at, we'll pitch them and say, hey, do you need some boat lessons? And the husband will say, no, I know everything. And the wife is behind him shaking her head like, hey, I'm in fear when I'm out there, right. Kind of thing.
You should be. You know why? Because it's called drowning.
Right.
It's not funny. I boated my whole, let me tell you something, in all my years, I've had a couple of close calls, and it's like, how the fuck did I end up here? Man?
Right.
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
If you screw up, it's over.
Yeah. You can
like
affect a lot of people real quick. I mean, like I said, I did 31 years in the Coast Guard. You responded to this stuff. I know.
You've
It's,
How
seen
much
it.
salt water
You've seen
can
it.
you drink? You know.
You've
Yeah.
seen it. So, all right, good. Hey guys, we're I'm getting that look from the producer. So we're kind of at the end of the show. I'd like to definitely thank my good friend Jim Allen.
Thank you.
Please, we're going to do what we call tip of the day, right? So Glenn's staring at me, but I got my tip. So my tip is, listen, if you want to be a Marine Surveyor, if you want to be a Marine professional, check out Chapman School of Seamanship. It's a great place for your education. And although surveyors are not required to have captain's licenses, I'm going to answer Nando's question again. Get your captain's license. It can only help.
I know a kangaroo that was a captain.
Yeah. So, Glenn, what's your tip?
I can't do a long one. I'll tell you what. So if you're trying to snake some wires through a boat, that little silicone tube you have, that little plastic nozzle, you can cut that, slide that over, so whatever that fitting is, instead of it getting jammed, that silicone tip, excuse me,
That's the beer.
will help you slide it through.
So that's interesting. So the wire end won't get caught.
Right,
The
so
connector
whatever the
won't get
plug
caught.
is, as long as it's not too much bigger than the silicone,
Yeah,
and
that's a
where
good
it goes
one.
on, it's an easy snake right there.
I didn't think of that one. That's a good one. What do you got? Any tips?
yeah. So I think my tip would be when you're docking and maneuvering, if you're going beyond the detent on your throttles, you're going too fast when you're docking and maneuvering. You should never have to take it out of there. And if you do have to take it out of that detent, you need to stop, back up, and reassess, because it doesn't get any better when you give that boat power next to a dock. It's just going to get worse. So stop, back out, reassess, make another approach.
Well, I can't do it where I am now, but where I used to be is if you're coming back with a dock and it's too windy, you just put it at the end of the T-dock.
Yeah. Always,
that works too.
you can go to the gas dock, leave it there for a while, let the wind calm down, and this is a controlled crash, guys. So,
Right.
do
I've left it
everything
on
you
the
can
T-dock many nights.
right.
Just because of the wind.
Don't be a hero, right?
right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'd like to thank again Jim Allen from the executive director of Chapman School of Seamanship. I'd like to thank our producer Micah Murley and production assistant Samantha. Hey, listen, have a happy and safe 4th of July, everybody. Use those boats. Use your head. Don't drink and drive. And be safe out there. So please hit that.
4th of July?
Yeah, it's 4th of July.
Can I have a 4th of July thing? You know what? I just want to say, screw all you little yappy dogs that make noise all year, but it's 4th of July, and now we're afraid of noise? No, it doesn't work that way.
So that's your tip.
That's my tip. Screw those little, my dog. It's my night.
All right. So listen, hit that subscribe, follow, a like button, and please tune in next Thursday and every Thursday for the Nauti Buoys Boat Show. Every week we will have exciting guests, informative news, and may you have fair winds, following seas, and tight lines. God bless you, everybody.